hair is falling in my face. Hey guys, I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm not quite sure where to look right now because I'm using my brother's camera and I have no idea where you look. So guys, I thought that I would continue the mental health series that I had going, so I thought I'd get back into it. I just put up a video actually this morning asking you guys for your input on what kind of videos you wanted to see. I've gotten a little bit of input. I don't think a lot of people have seen it yet, and that's okay. So today I wanted to talk about misconceptions about mental illness, and I know that this is a very, very popular type of video on YouTube and on the internet, but I thought that I would go over some of the things that I find to be misconceptions about mental illness, and the things that I've chosen are kind of the things that bother me a lot that I want to clear up with some of the people that either have a mental illness and they believe these things about themselves, or people, society that like to think these things about people with mental illness, and I would just like for them to kind of see a different side, I guess. I wanted to kind of clear up was that there is a difference between what people say about mental illness and about what people experience about mental illness. What people say is kind of things that they, I feel, have gotten their facts off of, like the internet or rumors, or what they've learned growing up in their families or around, or whoever they grew up around. I mean, at school, anything really. What I mean about experience is that people who have experienced mental illness, or people who have people in their lives that have mental illness, who have kind of seen it one-on-one, that's kind of like an example of where I'm getting my facts today, because it's based off experience. Another point I wanted to make was that people who don't understand mental illness are going to look at this video and mental illness in general as they're going to look at it differently rather than somebody who, like I said, has had the experience of it. But yeah, before I start with these facts, I wanted to tell you that I am not a mental health specialist. I can tell you, and what I'm going to tell you is based off of my experience with society, my experience with friends, family, and myself. Misconception number one. This one bothers me the most, and I wanted to say it first, that people with mental illness are faking their illness. My question to someone who would think this is, why would someone who claims to be, or is, it appears, but I'm going to say claims because that's what the other person would think, claims to have a mental illness or claims to be struggling with something, why would they fake it? Why would they want to put themselves through all this pain just because? I feel like, based on my experience, they are not faking it, and if it appears to be that they're faking it, or if you think that they're faking it, then either you're thinking completely wrong about that person and you need to check out like how you evaluate people, or two, people who appear to be maybe possibly faking it, that's just how they deal with things. But if someone appears to be wanting attention to you or faking their illness, then you either need to go ask them nicely, like what's going on, like acting, you know, telling them that you care about them, asking them what's going on, or you just need to not talk to that person, because if they are really going through something, it's really going to hurt them even worse when you think that they're faking it. Number two is that people with a mental illness aren't actually seeking help, and I wanted to mention this because I have heard this a lot. When someone has a very severe mental illness, or it appears that they have one, someone is gonna help them get help, hopefully. That's my hope. It's kind of a don't judge a book by its cover thing. Just because you think somebody is struggling and you claim they're not getting help, doesn't mean that they actually aren't getting help. They probably most likely are, and if they aren't, then they need you to help them get help. Number three, I almost did two, is that people with mental illness are seeking attention. Like I said before, why would somebody who's struggling with something very severe want to attract attention to that? It makes you feel uncomfortable when there's attention put on you when you're struggling with something. I wouldn't tell somebody who's struggling with something like, oh, you just want attention and you just want everyone to look at you and you just want everyone to feel sorry for you. That's probably not the case. the issue at hand is probably that they're just really struggling and they don't know how to deal with it. The way of dealing with things is to let it come naturally. So if someone's, you know, having a panic attack, it doesn't mean that they're doing it for attention. It means that they don't know how to deal with it, so they're letting it naturally happen because their body is freaking out and they can't help it. So I wouldn't, you know, just tell somebody that they're wanting attention. Instead, I would say, what's wrong? How can I help you? Kind of thing, you know? Number 4 is that people with a mental illness belong in a hospital. I would call it a misconception because some people think that as long as you're struggling with a mental illness in general, that you should be getting treatment long-term in a hospital. I guess I would say it depends on the severity, and like I said, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you the like 100% answer because I can't. A lot of people think that people who have a mental illness belong in a hospital because if you're somebody who doesn't know or understand much about mental illness, you just think that because they're going through something that seems severe to you, that they should be in a hospital. And that's, I guess it would depend on what they're struggling with exactly and how severe. Yes, they are struggling, and some of it could be pretty serious, but it doesn't mean that they need to be on lockdown in a hospital. It could mean that they need to go to outpatient, they need to find a psychiatrist and be on medication, they need to go to a therapist, they need to go to drug and alcohol rehab, or, you know, something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because somebody is struggling with that they have to be in a hospital. Maybe they're just somebody who seems like they're going through something that serious is really just in a state of mind at the moment, and they just need somebody to help them come back. Obviously, if it's something that is life-threatening, then you want to take them to the hospital. That is, you want to go to the hospital. But just because somebody's going through something doesn't mean that they need to be in a hospital for a while. The last one is number 5, and it is that people with a mental illness will never get better. And I want to say that this one is more popular, much more popular within the community of people who struggle with mental health. People who have an actual mental illness, I feel like, have this misconception because they think that things are so bad and they seem so bad all at once, and you know, they think, well, I'm always going to be this way, and these people who were in my life before have told me I'm a failure, I'm not worth it, and I need to disregard that because somebody cannot tell you about yourself. This is my belief. Somebody cannot tell you about yourself. Only you can tell you about yourself. Only you can tell yourself, I'm gonna get better. And believe it. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to keep going to treatment. You have to keep wanting it. You have to. Because if you don't, you're not going to move anywhere. And you have to get the community around you. You have to make friends that are going to accept you, friends that are going to love you for who you are. They will encourage you to get better too. And with that help and with your treatment and whatever else you're getting, things will improve. I promise. Me personally, I wouldn't say I've completely hit 100% yet. But if I look back on where I was when I was telling myself that nothing's going to get better and where I am now, I can tell you that things have gotten better, and I have hope that they will someday. And I know it doesn't feel like it, 100% of the time when you think this, because you could be feeling like crap one night and be like, I'm never gonna get better, ever, and then in the morning you're like, hey, it's a new day and I feel like there's hope and I feel like things are gonna happen. You need to hold on to those moments. You need to hold on to the moments that are where you're telling yourself that things are gonna get better, and then when you're feeling worse, you need to remind yourself of those moments if you can, and if not, you need to write them down, put them all over your room, have people, text somebody that you trust in to tell them that you're feeling down, and then have them remind you that things are going to get better. You just gotta have hope. And if you feel like you have nobody that you can have accountability with for that, then message me. I'm a lot easier to find on Twitter, and what's the other one? Instagram. Find me on Twitter. I'll probably respond to you a lot quicker than I would on here, because it's, when comments roll in, it's like hard to like read each one, and then I miss some, and then, so if you need somebody to talk to, or just somebody to be a friend, or somebody to follow, I will do my best to be encouraging, and I will do my best to care and love you. And if you're having trouble finding me, comment below and I will get a hold of you somehow, and we will find each other, and we will be friends, and we will be encouraging. So I just wanted to tell you guys about these misconceptions that I felt were pretty well known in society, and I just wanted to give you my feedback on it based on my experience. And if you disagree with me at all, that's okay. Everyone has their own opinions, so I just ask that you respect them. And yeah, I guess I will talk to you guys later, and I love you.